Hello and welcome back to another episode of the HB Studio Podcast with Tim and Kristin, which is part 3 with our distinguished guest, John Bost. So John's going to help us unravel what sets visionaries apart, how dreamers shape our future, and the essential qualities of effective leadership in today's dynamic landscape. So grab your headphones and settle in. Episode 8 is about to begin. Exploring the essence of visionaries, dreamers, and leadership. Enjoy.
Well, I think we were talking the other day about second fiddle. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a lot of power in that because you need that second, really, to make the harmony. But at the same time, I feel like that first string can't quit. The first string doesn't have the theoretical luxury of stopping their music because once that stops, it's over. But the second, as quite the compliment, the uplifter can say, okay, this isn't working anymore. Go on and solo. Yeah. You got this. Yeah. And I think there's great power in being able to hear that music, that tune, to say, he's got this, she's got this, they've got this. I'm not jiving with this right now. And there's a lot of power in that.
Well, some of that actually, when as an entrepreneur that enjoys second fiddle, second place, because you know you're adding value, complementing the primary, the person who needs for whatever reason to be out front. Mm-hmm. There's a certain point where you realize you have accomplished what you came there to do. And even though there might be economic incentive to remain, you just decide that it's not worth the risk of actual time being spent that you can't get back. You can't buy back time. Mm. Time being spent that's not headed toward where your personal calling might be. And so you take the risk. And with that risk comes reward. And if you are visionary, which being second fiddle, a big piece, a lot of times the first party gets the full benefit of people's interpretation of vision and that sort of thing. Mm. When in reality, it's the team under that person that provides that vision. As someone, golly, Pete, I was in a conversation the other day, and it was Sunday, and the pastor mentioned Roy and Walt Disney, and at the ribbon cutting of Walt Disney World, someone looked at Roy and said, "It's a shame that Walt could not see this." And his response was, "If Walt had not seen this, this would not be happening."
Oh yeah,
wow. That's so powerful.
Wow,
so that's a visionary.
Well, and it's great that you bring that up because one of the quotes I was just telling Tim that I heard, I didn't make this up, but I heard this recently and I wish I could credit exactly where it came from, but it said something to the tune of, it takes leaders with a vision to help people with dreams.
Wow.
And powerful. So, everyone has a dream. If you don't have a dream, you're dead. Mm. Yeah. Either on the inside or you're really just dead because every single person has a dream, and anybody, you can take any construct of people and create leadership, whether that's being a dad or being a pastor or being a CEO, whoever's leading groups of people, but that leader is really responsible with their ability to have this vision to enable dreams to live, to grow, to manifest. If your dream within your family is to take more vacations, it takes the visionary of how are we going to afford that? How are we going to make the time for that? What do we love to do? Okay, well, the kids like water. Well, the wife doesn't. So how are we going to do this to make the dream of more family vacations happen? And I think that's what leaders do within their companies.
Mm. You just mentioned compromise too. That's interesting. Like a compromise comes into that formula, visionary, and people who make that vision come to fruition. I think that's very interesting. But yeah, you was going to say, John?
Well, the dream is like the final photo of where you're headed. A dreamer can kind of paint that photo. A visionary, I believe, has to set the trajectory to achieve that photo, and in that comes a strategic approach, and that's time-consuming. Who's around the table? Who's missing? What are the skill sets? And unless you can pull all of that together, you may have a dream, but like Kristin said, you probably won't see and have clear vision to get there. So, and again, it is so much. Life is about team. It really is. Without a team, you just grow old.
That's right.
You know, as opposed to back to this whole portrait thing that you're bringing together, that eventually will be an aha of, oh my word, that was my dream. This whole thing of appreciative inquiry, of sitting down with someone and kind of getting a sense of their dream, and then bringing around them the people that can bring their dream to fruition, that can help with setting that trajectory for their preferred future. All of that is valuable.
The HB Studio Podcast is brought to you by the historic Roy Hill in Clemens, North Carolina. The opinions and thoughts presented on this podcast are that of Kristin, Tim, and their guests alone. Our goal is to bring positive motivation through real-life experiences and training as business professionals. Thank you for listening.